2019 marks the 20th year of Howl-O-Scream at Busch Gardens Tampa. The event, which began in the year 2000, replacing the child-friendly spooky safari event, the park wanted to create something truly horrifying that would appeal to teens and adults. This week on Expedition Scream Park, we're taking a look at this year's Howl-O-Scream. The inaugural Howl-O-Scream took place over 10 nights in September and October, with 3 walk-through haunted houses, the Labyrinth of Lost Souls underneath the skyline, which offered trapped spirits who preyed on living guests in a prison-style maze, dark caverns in the Curiosity Caverns, which was full of nocturnal animals, where the walkthrough was combined with special effects and creepy creatures of the night. The final original maze was the Haunted Jungle Trail in the Myombe Reserve, which was an outdoor walkthrough where you would encounter the year's icon, Dr. Livingstone, a mad scientist who served as your tour guide. He would be played by Scott Swenson, who was the face of Howl-O-Scream for 15 years and one of the original creators of the event. Roaming the park was a selection of 70 costume actors who would interact all over with the guests, along with celebrity guests such as Butch Patrick, the original Eddie Munster. The original year was a huge hit, and over the next years the event would continue to evolve and add more and more. The second year increased the amount of houses to 5. 2002 saw 6 houses, each year offering mostly all new experiences throughout the park. With them came some event icons, such as the Death Jockey in 2007, the Ravens Twins in 2008, and more recently Scarlet in 2015. For the 20th event in 2019, Howl-O-Scream would offer 6 haunted houses, 9 scare zones, rides in the dark including the new Tigress, and a return of the show Fiends. As with last year, I'm going to go through all of them and put them in order of what I enjoyed from the least to the most, as well as talk about what to expect from this year's Howl-O-Scream.
Hi baby, how you doing?
The event runs on select nights from September 20th to November 2nd. It begins at 7:30 p.m, but just a tip, if you do go and pick up your ticket, you can enter the park from as early as 5 p.m, so make sure you head in to get that extra time. This year, the park are offering a special happy hour from 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at the Cheetah Hunt Plaza with some buy one get one free drinks. The specialty cocktails this year are actually pretty good. Scare zones this year are quite good also, but none of the new ones added really offer much new. First of all, let me talk about First Fear. The scare zone I was most excited for, as icons from the past 20 years return to Busch Gardens to greet you with even an appearance from that first icon, Dr. Livingstone. Sadly, I can't rank this one because I didn't see it at all. I was already in the park by the time the event started, and for some reason they decided to put this scare zone outside of the park at the entrance. I also left the park about 15 minutes after it had closed at 1 a.m, so I didn't get to see anything from this, as by that time all the actors outside were gone. I was really looking forward to seeing the old icons, and while a scare zone is a cool idea to greet you, it doesn't really work for people already in the park, and to put the icon special 20 Year of Fear one there is kind of a mistake. Another new scare zone, Carpe Noctem, is located near the old Rhino Rally entrance. This eerie, quiet, gothic Romanian cemetery has the screams of vampires and moans of their victims throughout. This scare zone is mostly a photo op where you can climb into a coffin with 4 other victims to take a spooky picture. The photo op is fun, but the rest of the zone is just fine with not much to see. Maniac Midway returns to the entire Pantopia section. sort of with half of the zone playing top chart hits, which really feels out of place and ruins the atmosphere of the scare zone a little, and the other half having a few props the same as last year. Once again, the clowns in the area are the standout by offering some great scares and scenes to watch. I really enjoyed the interactive string pulling hook from Mouth Actor and the Maddox clown as always.
Excuse me a minute, would you?
Another familiar scare zone returns as a dance/picture zone rather than a scare zone to honour the spirits. With festive music and some good set pieces and lighting, it offers tastes of Mexico, face painting and tequila. It's a fun zone, but it certainly is not scary. Another returning zone is Hell on Wheels, where a zombie biker gang in a post-apocalypse world will stop at nothing for food and supplies. Some great scares in here and new set photo ops. The leaf blowers return, which I'm a big fan of, as well as the actors on bikes. Deadly Toys returned as well, with the giant toys coming to life once again in a murderous rampage, this time with a new location from the previous year, offering the same sinister twist and some great costumes. The final new scare zone is Little Nightmares, where trick-or-treating comes with a scary twist, as papier-mâché masks and homemade costumes come to haunt you. This creepy zone does a good job of not just jump scares but eerie stillness. As always, be aware of the bushes. The most visually impressive zone also returns with Camp DOA. The murderous mutants rising from the swamp waters offer some great scares inside and some of the more impressive sets on the narrow walkway scare zone. Meat Market returns this time without the over 17 area warning, the most interactive and intense of the scare zone, offering some gory sights as the cannibal creatures roam throughout the area. Now let's talk about the main event, the houses. Once again, 6 houses for the event with 1 new and 5 returning, this time with twists. The one I enjoyed the least is the same as the previous year, and one I thought may not have returned this year, the Black Spot Bloodshed. An infamous pirate has marked you for death as you enter the underbelly of Captain Sawtooth Silas' pirate ship. The sets are good, but the house is just not very scary. With minimal changes from the previous year and being one of the weaker houses for the last 4 years, hopefully this is the last time we board this ship at the event. While last year's Simon Slaughterhouse was billed as a sick game of Simon Says, this year it seems much more generic Slaughterhouse with the game section dropped. It is billed as Simon's house, where every twisted turn corrals you from one sickening scene to the next. Be careful or you might end up on Simon's butcher's block. Most of the house remains the same, maybe a little bit darker without the Simon Says sections throughout. You are once again sent into different entrances for the first room before rejoining the same line. While not advertised this year as a 17+ area, this house remains the goriest of the bunch. It is very loud with a slightly confusing experience. Not my favourite house, but not the worst. I'm sad to say that my favourite house from the last few years has dropped down a few places. Motel Howl Infestation. Motel Shelburne has a new theme, and this time the bugs have taken over. The exterminator is determined to extinguish all signs of life inside, including yours. I like that they tried to mix up the original houses rather than bringing them back the exact same, but I loved the previous version of this so much that the bug aspect just didn't hit for me. The motel is much darker inside, making it harder to see the impressive sets, and each room is now filled with bugs throughout. From roaches hanging in your face to screen-used bug effects. Some of the more unique scares have been removed, as well as the soundtrack throughout being replaced with bug noises.
You're on my list for extermination.
With Unearth not returning due to the construction of RMC Gwazi, which I can't wait for, the new house this year was located back in Pantopia, the Residence. Discover the domestic demons within a suburban home. Inside the Clark's family home, unseen horrors draw you in, but watch out, you could be the next sacrifice in their sinister devotion. The Residence is a fun house with some nice sets, especially the first room and some great unique scares inside. A good addition to the event.
Don't go in this house.
Last year, I loved the new house Insomnia. It offered something completely different to any of the other houses. A creepy, slow soundtrack, interactive scenes, and just an eerie experience. This year, Insomnia Patient's Revenge takes a much more aggressive approach. Gone are the creepy sleep and phobia experiments. This time, the patients have taken over. The years of cruel treatments at the Sleep Institute have warped the minds of the patients who have rised up against the demented doctors. Jump scares feature throughout, mixed with some of the more unique scares from last year, including one you might remember from Unearthed. I really like how they evolved the story from the house last year to make a less eerie house, but one that is much more aggressive and scary. Instead of the hypnotic soundtrack, Marilyn Manson's Sweet Dreams plays throughout. A great, fresh take on a great house. And finally, the top house for 2019. The house, which was first introduced in 2013, Deathwater Bayou. After her death last year, the Queen of Shadows has been lifted from the dead by voodoo's dark magic and is seeking revenge upon the living. The first scene inside has changed, but the rest of the house remains mostly unchanged. This great house has once again amped up the intensity and offered the perfect, varied walkthrough within, even if it has been here for 7 years now. So overall, Howl-O-Scream 2019 is a bit of a mixed bag. I assume the budget may have shrunk again over the last few years, but I really like how they continued the story of multiple houses from previous years, taking what they had to work with and presenting them in fresh ways. For a first-time visitor, the event offers a top quality experience for an amazing price, giving you great value. For those returning, there may just be too much this year that has been seen before. With a solid 4 out of 6 houses though, I still highly recommend a visit, as the price for what is on offer can't be beaten in the area. A highlight once again of the event truly are the cast and performers throughout, who give so much every single night. The much more in-your-face experience and the fact that actors use their own voice to create scares offers something much more intimate than would be expected in such a large theme park. I really hope Howl-O-Scream 2020 offers something big, fresh and new, while continuing the evolution of the current houses with new stories and ideas. As for 2019 though, it surely is worth the $40 admission price. Oh, how can I forget this year's show, the returning Fiends.
Good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Frankenstein.
The dancing is great, but overall my opinion of the show is... Thank you so much for watching this episode of Expedition Haunts, the first of our spooky season episodes on Expedition Scream Park. This is just my opinion on Howl-O-Scream 2019, and if you have been, be sure to let me know what you thought in the comments below. As the spooky season continues, we'll be covering reviews and the history of haunts, scary rides, and Halloween fun from all over the world, so make sure you subscribe to join the expedition. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram for updates on upcoming episodes, and a special thank you to our Patreons for supporting the channel. We will see you next time.